Hello and welcome back. Today we are diving deep into one of the most volatile situations currently unfolding behind palace walls. It is a story of survival, reputation, and a very distinct clash of generations. We need to talk about the man formerly known as a working royal, the Duke of York, Prince Andrew. Or, as many of us still instinctively call him, simply Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. You know, it's funny how names and titles stick with us. I know many people correct me on the technicalities of titles, but let's be honest, it is ingrained in our collective memory. Take the Princess Royal, for instance, to the history books and the institution. She is the Princess Royal. But to me, she will always be Princess Anne. It's what we grew up with. It is how we identify them as human beings rather than just figureheads. And while Anne has maintained a pristine reputation as a lovely, hard-working lady, her brother represents the other side of that coin. Right now, Prince Andrew is in a position that can only be described as incredibly tricky. He is fighting for his social and royal survival. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, wait a minute, surely it's over. Surely he's done. But in the world of the monarchy, nothing is ever truly done until the full, unvarnished story emerges. And right now, Andrew is refusing to let the story end. Before we get into the heavy details of this legal and royal battle, I want to take a brief sidebar. I was travelling through central London the other day. Sitting on the top deck of a bus going down Oxford Street, you know the view. And it got me thinking about how things change, often without us realizing what we've lost. I was looking at the big department stores, passing Selfridges, and I remembered being a kid. Do you remember the window displays? Specifically at Christmas. They were theatrical masterpieces. It wasn't just products, it was art. Someone had put genuine effort, care, and physical craft into those windows. One of the great window dressers of the past, before he became a drag superstar, was actually Danny LaRue. He started out dressing windows in London before moving into entertainment. There was a magic to it. But now, I looked out the bus window and it's just wall-to-wall television screens. Giant digital billboards. It feels a bit dull, doesn't it? The art of window dressing, of making things look beautiful through effort seems to have gone out the window, replaced by cold screens. I ask this because it feels like a metaphor for the monarchy right now. We used to have the pageantry and the careful curation of image. Now, we just have screens, scandals, and everything played out in high definition for the world to see. I'd love to know your thoughts. Do you miss those old displays? Or is this just the way of the world? Let me know in the comments. But let's get back to the main event. The shattering of the royal window display. We have to look back at the catalyst for the current standoff, that infamous Newsnight interview. We all remember it. Andrew sat down, believing he could charm the public and explain away his associations. According to the BBC and nearly every viewer on Earth, there were mistruths, to put it kindly. The full story never really landed. But the most telling part of that saga wasn't the interview itself. It was the aftermath. Do you remember reports stating that Andrew returned to the palace, went to his mother, Her late Majesty the Queen, and reportedly said, "That went fine. That was perfect. Everything is sorted." Boy, oh boy, was he mistaken. That moment of delusion set the stage for everything we are seeing now. Since then, it has been battle after battle. But the war has shifted. It is no longer Andrew versus the media or Andrew versus the public. The conflict is now accelerating between Prince Andrew and the future king, the Prince of Wales, Prince William. Let's talk about the geography of this fight, because where you live in the royal world dictates your status. Recently, there have been extensive talks about Andrew and his ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson, who, by the way, refuses to leave his side. They are a united front. The discussion is about where they are going to live and how they will be funded. The solution presented by the firm often points toward the Sandringham estate. Now, for those outside the UK, Sandringham isn't just one big house. It's a massive area with various cottages and farmhouses, including Wood Farm. That is where the late Prince Philip spent his final years. It is secluded, private, and dignified. It's a place to retire away from the prying eyes of the world. But here is the problem. Andrew doesn't want to retire to the countryside in that way. He doesn't want to remove himself from the centre of gravity, which is Windsor Great Park. He likes the horse riding. He wants to be near London. He wants to be near his daughters. He is clinging to Royal Lodge, his massive home in Windsor, like a limpet. And his refusal to budge has created a catastrophic headache for the monarchy. With the King and Prince William looking closely at royal finances, rents, and the optics of a non-working royal living in a palace, Andrew's stubbornness is becoming a major liability. Now, I have received some information regarding a very specific development in this feud, and it involves a direct attempt by Andrew to sway Prince William. A few weeks ago, a damaging story circulated. It alleged that Prince Andrew had used a former bodyguard to dig up dirt or gossip on his accuser, Virginia Giuffre, in an attempt to discredit her. This was a massive story, painting Andrew as vindictive and underhanded. However, the British Metropolitan Police have reportedly conducted their own research into this claim and concluded that the story was not true. They found no evidence he did that. According to insiders, the confusion stemmed from Andrew making a comment along the lines of, "I bet that's what they'll say I'm doing next," which was then twisted into a factual allegation. Here is where the strategy comes in. I am told that this police conclusion, this document clearing him of that specific act, has allegedly been sent directly to Prince William as an email attachment. Why? Because Andrew is trying to prove a point. He wants William to see this and say, "Look, the stories are wrong. If this one is false, maybe the others are too. Give me time." Andrew believes that if he is bought a little more time, he can prove his innocence on a wider scale. It is a desperate gambit. He is trying to use one small victory to overturn a mountain of public opinion. The problem Andrew faces is the drip feed. With the Epstein files and various court documents continuing to drop surreptitiously around the world, there is a constant low-level anxiety in the palace. Even if Andrew hasn't been criminally charged, and, we must remember, he is also not stepping forward to clear his name in a court of law of his own free will. Andrew believes he deserves time. He believes he shouldn't be shoved off into the shadows based on hearsay and media storms. He is, by nature, very belligerent and incredibly stubborn. But behind the palace doors, the mood is different. Many believe that Prince William is the driving force here. While the king is the monarch, it is William who is looking at the long-term survival of the brand. Sources suggest that William wants this solved now, so that it does not land on his plate when he eventually takes the throne. William wants the issue neutralized. Andrew refuses to be neutralized. Despite what you may read about deals being struck, Andrew is not up for budging. And William is not up for compromising. The result? A fight that is, quite frankly, radioactive. We will have to wait and see who blinks first. But if history is any indicator, the institution always wins in the end. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe and let me know. Do you think Andrew should be allowed to stay at Royal Lodge, or is it time to move to Wood Farm? I'll see you in the next video.